Well, this one should hopefully go a lot better as far as recording and just posting to YouTube for short, given that I am not going to have the music included in this one, unfortunately. Not the one that I put on YouTube anyway, because of course copyright is a thing. And even though you can actually post copyrighted content on regular videos, like with the content ID thing, it'll say like, yeah, that's okay, use it on YouTube. It will just straight up block it completely on shorts over 60 seconds because they're still experimental. But anyway, that is not what I'm here to talk to you guys about. What just disconnected and reconnected? What was that? Do I want to know? Whatever, it's fine. Right, because the only audio you guys are getting is from the lav mic. Okay. Addiction is a bit of a hard topic to talk about because I've been through a lot of them. Nothing hard, nothing like hard drugs, but I've been on weed, cigarettes, alcohol, porn, all of it. All of it are addictions that I've either fought, fighting, or I'm working through and trying to be sober from. Alcohol addiction, I will say, is especially difficult, along with cigarettes, actually. Now, I never got addicted enough to cigarettes that I depended on them, but they can get you, and they have a lot of nasty side effects, as we all know in the long term. But actually, one of the things that helped me break away from them, and I urge this to anybody who's trans at all, that it kills your estrogen. Like, it actually counteracts and destroys the estrogen particulates in your body that are trying to bind and do things. It'll lower your estrogen count. That one was hard. Actually, not as hard as I thought it would be, but I did it with work. At a couple of my jobs, I would pop into the back and kind of like feed off of somebody else's cigarettes. For the most part, I never really went out and bought them on my own, but there was always somebody who had them, and they were always willing to share. And I'm so glad I gave that one up. I found myself asking at FedEx for truck drivers who had them. And some of them were looking at me and telling me, no, you really shouldn't, kid. And I'm glad they did, because God, I do not need to get back on that. Actually, the first pack that I ever bought was within a week of me finding out about the estrogen thing, and I threw them away. And it had been sporadic. It'd been like, there had been years between them, like it was like 3 different points. But yeah, first point was me trying some at my first job. Second point was, I think, a different job, and the third one was FedEx, and that's when I finally started buying them. Like actual cigarettes, I ended up buying at one point a pack. Threw that away as soon as I found out about the estrogen thing. I think I made it through like a third of it. There are also, what helped me get off them was actually having non-tobacco ones and non-nicotine ones. Because you could smoke those, still feel the same feeling, inhale and exhale and all that. And yeah, it helped. It helps a lot. Still think I have some of those herbal ones too. Every once in a while I feel the urge to do it, and if it's too strong, do that. But I've actually been getting to the point where I don't need them as much anymore. They're more for the original purpose that I wanted to use them for, which is for if I ever do any IRL filming, I want them as a prop cigarette. But anyway, enough about those. Alcohol was worse. Alcohol and weed both were a lot worse. Now, people will probably fight me in the comments over this, if anybody shows up in the comments, that, well, weed's medicinal. It's not addictive, and it's healthier, and it's better for you, and you can't be addicted. There's no bad side of it. Wrong. I found out the hard way. First, through experience. I had my experience with a really bad blunt, actually. Or was it a joint? 25% THC. got greened out, puked all over the transit station on the way to across the U.S. in the bus. Not in the bus, thankfully, but at the station. They had to call the paramedics on me. Now, we were in Colorado. The guy on the bus thanked me. Did him a favor. He gave me a blunt or joint, whatever the hell it was. But it was a lot stronger than anything I'd ever had, and I took 3 experienced puff, inhale, without puffing, and then exhale to get it really deep. I got it bad. I was not walking straight. I could barely control my body, and I just threw everything up. Thank God there was not a lot in my stomach, and I was on CBD like chill for like the next 24 hours, and my mouth was dry, and it sucked. That's not worth it. I'll just say that. But what's also not worth it is even just regular amounts of CBD or anything like that. CBD is not so bad. It's not as bad. I haven't heard as much bad stuff about it, but the thing is it still has THC in it. There's not really a 100% CBD only. It can be helpful in moderated doses and prescribed. But weed in general, I was on that for like a while, since I was, I think, 20. And let me just tell you that it does degrade you. It does affect your mentality. It can stunt you. And it can create a dependency. People think it's not addictive. It can make you dependent. You can actually get the symptoms of like shakes and anxiety from not being on it. And that will, of course, make you want to be on it because weed makes those feelings go away, but then it makes those feelings worse. It can literally, if too much use, degrade you. It's unfortunate, but it's the case. But I'm off that. I finally, I got off of it. And it's, I understand there's some people who need it for the CBD aspects, for the pain, or for other issues, but nothing's perfect. No drug is ever going to be perfect. Alcohol was the real kicker, though. Alcohol was one that I had a lot. Actually, had a little sip of it a couple sips of it when I was 20 with my parents for like, hey, don't go out and do this illegally. Have it with us and have a small amount in a controlled environment so that, safety. And then I turned 21. We went bar hopping, and I got so hammered that I had to be walked home on both shoulders. And ever since then, it's been a slippery slope with the moves and the abuse from a lot of different people and the stress of everything and the need to be liked. The need to be liked was a big one. Need to be the fun one at parties and stuff. It drove me to become an alcoholic, basically. I was an alcoholic for a little bit. But I am about 2 months sober as of 2.5 months sober, actually. Might even coming up on 3 months now because I think I stopped drinking halfway through March. I am about 3 months sober. Now, will I probably touch alcohol again in the future? In small, moderated doses in mixed drinks, yes. But I will never again be doing the shots or the chugging or drinking a whole bottle in the span of like a couple of days thing that I used to do. Wait, no, I'm not. Okay, I did have a little bit of alcohol since I've been over here. 1 bottle of Fireball that I think lasted me like 3 weeks or something. But I did have that. But after that ran out, we haven't bought any more because tight money. But I'm sober. I might go back again, but probably not anywhere near the degree that I used to. And then there's the addiction that I'm still working through, that I'm still moving on from. I'm actually slowly getting away from it, but porn addiction, it's a real thing. I didn't believe in it. I didn't think it was real until I tried not doing anything pleasurable for like 11 days once back when I worked at a different company, like back when I worked in Minnesota, and I almost hung myself. It was so bad. I had to be pulled off of a step stool at work. It was bad. But I've actually been weaning myself off of it. I did, and now I'm a lot more clean. I don't do it every day anymore. I don't do it multiple times a day anymore. I'm not like addicted to the dopamine that I got from it. I'm getting clean with that, and that one's one that I'm really proud of because that's one that I've struggled with for like, God, a fucking decade. A decade, yeah. You know, since middle school, it's been a problem. Jeez. And you know what's funny? Not a lot of people would even talk about this kind of stuff, really, would they? Not a lot of people would have the desire to talk about these problems with, like online, would they? But I'm okay with just talking about that because I want you guys to know I've been through it. I've been through 4 addictions in my life, and I'm working them all off. I've never been addicted to opioids, thankfully. Never got on anything harder than weed. But I've made it past cigarettes. I've made it past alcohol. I'm making it past porn, and I've made it past weed. And if I can do that, you can do it too. See, the thing about addiction is that it fills a void in your life. That's the problem. That void is usually when you don't have friends that you can hang out with, when you don't have a hobby to give you life, when you don't get out of the house or do things that excite you, or, well, the most typical one, when you don't have someone to love. And all of those things, yes, I know, oh, I don't have a girlfriend, so I might as well get addicted. No. If you don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend or a non-binary partner, if you don't have friends, if you don't have outside life, if you don't have a hobby, find a hobby. Make some friends. Go outside. Even just take walks. Actually, better idea, if you feel like getting off, or taking a drink, or lighting one up, do some push-ups, or sit-ups. Exercise is not only going to give you a bit of dopamine, probably, or serotonin, just a little bit, not an excessive amount like drugs will, but it will give you some, and you'll have that reward of if you keep doing that, you'll be able to get stronger and have something to work towards. Hell, I do that. I'm doing that now. I did exercise before I even got in VR, actually. But yeah, that's why I'm actually not really moving that much. I'm sore. Just a little sore. Live your life. Live your life free of addiction and free of chains that pull you down. Break free from your chains. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. I cannot tell you that because it's not true. It's not easy. It will not be easy. It will be really hard for you, especially for some people who have really sunken into these. Proper alcoholics, people who smoke a pack a day. You know, even coffee, actually, even caffeine, sugar is addictive. All of these things I've broken away from. I don't get to drink coffee anymore. I don't get a lot of sugar anymore. I mean, like, occasionally I'll get stuff that's sweet, like Kool-Aid or whatever, but like all these things, all these chemicals can be addictive. They can be controlled and moderated. Some of the ones that aren't as bad, like sugar and coffee, are fine in moderation. They're not gonna like kill you or really suck you in unless you rely on them. But I'm not gonna say addiction is easy to break, because that's not true. It's not easy to break. In fact, it's the opposite of easy. It's actually really hard. But you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in every one of you that you can break the chains that bind you to this chemical and live your life. Live your life, not theirs.